The smart kid trap: why you're too smart to be successful. You crush school without trying, and now effort feels like a threat. That's the smart kid trap. Talent gave you shortcuts, adulthood removed them, and suddenly trying risks your identity. Most people slap on motivation tips. Wrong problem. Your future you keeps ghosting you because your brain discounts tomorrow and protects "I am smart" at all costs. In this video, I'll expose the trap, show why future you never shows up, and give you a discipline system that makes struggle feel safe. Psychology, philosophy, and practical drills, no fluff. First, let's name the trap so you can see it the moment it shows up. Naming the trap: smart kid paradox. If you've ever said, "I could do it if I actually tried," you're in the paradox. High potential, low tolerance for struggle. School rewarded speed and correctness, so your identity fused with effortless success. When a task requires visible effort, it doesn't feel neutral, it feels like exposure. That's not laziness. It's an ego protection strategy wired by years of praise for being smart, not for working smart. Carol Dweck's work on mindsets explains this cleanly. Praise for talent tends to create a fixed mindset. Your brain reads effort as a signal that maybe you're not smart after all. So you avoid the situations that would generate growth. The loop becomes predictable. You only do what guarantees an A, you delay what threatens your image, and you jump in at the last minute for heroics because urgency lets you blame time instead of ability. What does it look like in real life? Almost projects that live in Google Drive purgatory. Months of refining the idea instead of shipping a version anyone can see. Perfection delays where you tinker with fonts or frameworks because it feels like progress without risk. Last-minute heroics where you crank a passable result in a burst, then say, "See, if I had time, it'd be amazing." Tool hopping, switching apps, cameras, or coding stacks, so the problem stays technical, not personal. Feedback dodging, ghosting critique, because it could puncture the naturally good story. The hidden payoff is obvious once you see it. Failure by default protects your identity. If you never fully try, then any mediocre result can be excused. "I didn't really go for it." That preserves self-worth in the short term, but taxes your future. The cost is brutal and silent, missed compounding opportunities. Skills only compound when you enter deliberate practice, targeted reps at the edge of ability with feedback. If you keep choosing tasks that showcase existing strengths, you plateau. No new inputs, no new outputs. Let me give you a quick self-check. 5 questions, answer honestly. Do you avoid starting tasks where your skill will be immediately measurable by others? Do you freeze or endlessly polish when good enough would move the project forward? Do you rely on deadline adrenaline to compensate for inconsistent daily work? Do you change tools more than you change behaviors? Do you dodge or delay feedback until you can present something perfect? If 3 or more are a yes, you're living the paradox. And once you see the pattern, you'll catch it operating inside tiny decisions. Opening email instead of the proposal draft, watching 2 tutorials instead of practicing the hard subskill, scheduling a strategy session instead of calling the customer. The avoidance isn't random. It's targeted at anything that could produce evidence about your current level. Here's the kicker: your brain isn't trying to sabotage your success. It's trying to reduce threat. In a fixed mindset frame, effort equals risk to identity, so your system cleverly routes you toward tasks with plausible deniability. That's why just try harder rarely works. You're asking your nervous system to volunteer for perceived humiliation. It will say no. Once you name the trap, 2 things shift. First, you stop calling it laziness. That changes how you intervene. Instead of motivational quotes, you design around threat reduction. Second, you realize you're paying an invisible interest rate on every delay. Skills are like investments. Time in the market beats timing the market. When you dodge deliberate practice, you lose years of compounding. A quick micro story to make this concrete. A client, straight A all through school, wanted to write online. She spent 6 months researching platforms, templates, and brand voice frameworks. 0 published posts. When she finally wrote a draft, she DM'd it to 3 friends who would never criticize her. They all said, "This is great." She felt validated, then didn't post. Why? Because public feedback could create measurable evidence. Once she labeled the behavior as identity protection, she set a new rule: publish 70% drafts weekly, solicit 1 critical note per post, log the error, adjust next week. 2 months later, she wasn't magically brave. She had data. The fear dropped because evidence replaced guesses. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this. The smart kid paradox turns effort into exposure. Your job is to turn effort into evidence. That reframing changes what your brain is protecting. Evidence is neutral, data you can learn from, while exposure feels like judgment. When you collect evidence, you can iterate. When you avoid exposure, you stagnate. Now, here's where most people mess up. They think future them will somehow feel different, more motivated, more confident, less busy. So they push the hard thing to later. But your brain discounts future rewards and overweights present discomfort. Understanding that bias is the first lever to break the cycle. Now here's why your brain keeps betting on future you. Future you illusion. Temporal discounting 101. Let's talk about why future you keeps ghosting you. Your brain runs a simple equation: immediate pain versus future reward. Because of hyperbolic discounting, the value of a reward drops fast as it moves into the future. A workout now feels costly. Health later feels fuzzy. Netflix is here. Six-pack is someday. Present pain wins. There's another twist: the end of history illusion. You believe you'll change a lot in the future, yet when the future arrives, you act like the same person. Researchers call it a prediction error. I call it outsourcing discipline to a better imaginary version of you who never shows up for the shift. So you plan like a superhero and execute like a human. This isn't laziness, it's a forecasting bug. You're not accurately pricing the time value of reward or the friction of initiation. That's why plans feel right and days go sideways. The thing most people miss is that planning is cheap dopamine. You feel progress without paying any pain. When reality asks for effort, the value curve flips and your brain defects to short-term comfort. So what do? We stop arguing with the bias and build around it. Let me show you exactly how. Take a 6-month goal, say, publish a portfolio site. That's abstract and far away. Convert it into present tense micro costs and micro rewards. Week 1, pick a template and write one 200-word bio. The cost should fit in 20 minutes. The reward must be immediate. Share it with one accountability partner, check a box on a visible tracker, earn a tiny treat you actually want. Tie the future to now. Before we continue, you need to understand pre-commitment. It's a device that locks your future options so present you can't wriggle out later. Deposit $50 with a friend. If you skip today's 20 minutes, they donate it to a cause you dislike. Install an app blocker that kills your top 2 distractions during your work window. Schedule a carking session where you'll screen share your result at the end. You're shrinking the distance between action and consequence. Now here's where most people mess up. They build a perfect spreadsheet with 47 milestones. That's planning porn. Or they overcommit, it'll do 3 hours a day, then crash on day 2 because there's no friction control. Or they set a calendar with no default slot, so the task must fight every other priority. Optimism bias loves this stuff because it guesses you'll be a different person next week. You want. Design for the you who shows up tired. Implementation in 3 parts. 1. Immediate cue. Decide the exact trigger. When I make coffee at 8:30, I open the draft and write 3 sentences. 2. Minimum viable action. Make the first step so small it feels almost silly. Open the doc, write a working title, drop a bullet list. If you remember nothing else, remember this: starting beats thinking about starting. 3. Instant feedback. Score your session on a 1 to 5 scale for reps completed and clarity gained. Visible points beat vague pride. A quick demo. Goal: run a 5K in 6 months. Presentize it. Today, put on shoes, walk 5 minutes, jog 1 minute, repeat 4 times. Cue: after lunch, before email. Pre-commitment: lay out shoes by the door, set a timer, text a friend a sweaty selfie, or lose $5. Reward: podcast episode you only unlock while walking. Mistakes to avoid: promising a perfect training plan, waiting for the right weather, or buying new gear first. Future you doesn't need shoes. Present you needs momentum. Let me drop a micro story. Last week, a client kept skipping a simple outreach task. We made it immediate and sticky. Every weekday at 9:10, she sent one message before opening Slack. If she skipped, she paid a $10 stake. She tracked a green dot for each day. 6 days in, she had 5 dots and 2 warm leads. The difference? She stopped trying to feel motivated later and built a tiny cliff shed rather not fall off. The reason this works is you're changing the incentive surface. Instead of far reward versus near pain, You add near reward and near consequence to balance the curve. You also lower the startup cost, so your nervous system doesn't flag it as a threat requiring a full identity debate. It's just open, do 1 unit, get a point. Finally, a quick checklist to audit your plan. Is the next action 2 minutes or less to start? Is there a fixed daily slot with a physical cue? Do you earn something immediately upon completion? Is there a small, automatic cost for skipping? Can you see your streak without opening an app? If you can't answer yes to 4 of 5, you're still betting on future you. Adjust the design, not the willpower. Ego armor, fixed mindset in disguise. Now we hit the ego layer, where the smart kid trap really digs in. In a fixed mindset, effort doesn't read as good work. It reads as you might not be smart. That's why your body throws up resistance the moment the task requires visible struggle. It's not just procrastination, it's protection. The armor says, only attempt things that guarantee an A, safe, polished, and shallow. The thing most people miss is how praise wired this reflex. When you've been rewarded for being quick or naturally good, your brain links self-worth to performance with no strain. Dweck's research is clear. Praise for talent makes effort feel like a threat cue, while praise for strategy or persistence makes effort feel productive. If your history is talent praise heavy, your nervous system isn't wrong, effort used to be punished. So it hides. How does the armor behave? It steers you toward performative competence. You choose tasks where you can look capable and avoid reps that would expose a gap. You produce glossy decks instead of raw prototypes. You rehearse answers instead of asking questions. You overprepare slides, underprepare skills. The public image stays clean, the private skill stays stuck. Now here's where most people mess up. They confuse safety behaviors with strategy. Quitting early gets reframed as smart resource allocation. Scope creep sounds like ambition. Waiting for clarity becomes being thoughtful. These are avoidance patterns with good branding. The tell is simple. Are you generating new evidence about your skill? If not, you're managing impressions, not improving. Let me show you exactly what the effort avoidance loop does. You scan for tasks that match your current strengths. You get quick wins. You feel competent, which suggests you're still smart. But the loop blocks you from the only environment where growth happens, conscious incompetence. That moment when you can see the gap and keep going. It's uncomfortable, and it's the door. Actually, let me back up and explain this better. Skill growth is a staircase. Unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence. The first time trying hard often lands you in stage 2, conscious incompetence, which pinches your identity. You're awake to the mismatch between taste and ability. That sting is exactly why the armor flares. It wants you back in the dark, where you can pretend you're great without proof. This clicked for me when a client tried live sales calls for the first time. On call 1, they fumbled objections. Their brain screamed, "This is proof you're not cut out for this." We reframed, "This is proof we've found the right edge." Then we logged the miss, which objection, what wording where the pause happened. 2 weeks later, same person, 3 closes. The change wasn't affirmations, it was reps plus feedback. Growth mindset isn't a slogan you adopt, it's a set of reps that retrain your threat response. You pair effort with data, not judgment. You make the hard zones small enough to enter daily, and you wire tiny rewards to showing up. You stop asking, "Am I good?" and start asking, "What did I learn?" Over time, your body stops reading struggle as humiliation and starts reading it as signal. Before we continue, you need to understand the difference between image work and skill work. Image work optimizes for applause today. Skill work optimizes for ability tomorrow. Image work avoids errors. Skill work seeks them out in controlled doses. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Practice that can't create evidence can't create growth. So how do we strip the armor without ripping your confidence? We define effort as evidence collection. We keep the units small and measurable. We set boundaries that force completion over polish. And we use environments where the norm is practice, not performance. When the room expects attempts and feedback, your ego can relax. You're no longer the outlier for trying. Here's a quick diagnostic you can use mid-task. Ask, what am I protecting right now, my image or my learning? If the answer is image, shrink the scope and ship something testable. If it's learning, identify the single failure you want to risk today. That turns try hard into run an experiment. Your brain loves experiments more than it loves exposure. Common mistakes to avoid: using affirmations without altering reps, hiding in meta work like planning, and seeking only friendly feedback. Friendly feedback soothes, but it doesn't sharpen. You need criteria, not compliments. Set acceptance tests before you start. What would good enough look like by the end of this 20-minute block? Hit that, then review. Let me close this section with a rule. Progress is proportional to tolerated embarrassment. Not chaos, not shame, just the mild embarrassment of doing something at your edge in public or with a coach. Every time you tolerate that feeling, you train your nervous system that you're safe while learning. And once that association flips, everything else clicks. So what actually replaces ego armor? A new definition of effort. It's not exposure, it's evidence. Next, I'll show you how to make that switch practical, how to turn effort into a clean loop of reps, rate, and review you can run daily. Redefining effort, from exposure to evidence. Effort feels dangerous when it's graded as a verdict on who you are. We're flipping that. From now on, effort is evidence collection. Evidence is neutral, and neutral is safe. Think beginner's mind, Shoshin. You show up like a curious scientist, not a defendant on trial. The job isn't to prove you're talented, it's to learn how the system responds when you try something specific. Here's the model: reps, rate, review. Reps are the countable actions that move the skill. Rate is the speed or quality per unit time. Review is where you turn results into adjustments. No moralizing, no vague vibes, just numbers and notes. The reason this works is it gives your brain a game to play. Games have rules, scoreboards, and quick feedback. Judgment has none of those, just dread. Let me show you exactly how to set this up. Start by defining a subskill inside your big goal, the smallest chunk that improves the whole. If you're writing, a subskill might be hooks that earn the next sentence. If you're coding, writing a test before a function. If you're selling, handling one objection without talking over the prospect. Narrow it until you can finish a rep in minutes. Now pick a target. Process targets beat outcome targets at this stage. Example, write 10 hook variants in 15 minutes. That's reps plus a time bound. Your rate will fall out naturally. Then decide on feedback. Without feedback, effort feels like exposure. With feedback, it's evidence. Feedback can be a rubric, a coach, a metric, or a simple A/B test. For hooks, your metric could be a predicted curiosity score on a 1-5 scale plus a live click-through once posted. This next part separates beginners from pros. Schedule a hard zone. 20 minutes, not 2 hours. The hard zone is the edge, hard enough to fail, short enough to repeat. Set a timer for 18 minutes of work, leave 2 minutes to review. Why 18? It's long enough to enter flow, short enough to dodge avoidance. If you remember nothing else, remember this: frequency beats intensity for rewiring your threat response. Let's run a quick example. You're learning to design thumbnails. Subskill, composition that guides the eye. Target, create 4 variations in 18 minutes. Metric, predicted clarity and contrast on a 1-5, then real CTR after posting. Review, pick the winner, write 1 sentence about why it worked, 1 tweak for next time. That's 1 hard zone. Do 5 this week, and y'all have 20 variations and a short list of patterns that actually win. Common mistakes to avoid. First, marathon sessions. Long blocks invite identity drama and burnout. Short, repeatable blocks build skill. Second, vague targets. Work on design is an argument with yourself. 4 comps in 18 minutes is a start cue. Third, low fidelity feedback. If your measure is felt good, y'all drift back to image work. Upgrade your metric or your reviewer. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Pre-write your acceptance criteria. Before you start, define good enough for this block. For example, a good enough hook scores at least 3 on clarity and curiosity, and I ship 1 to test. Acceptance criteria close the loop. They stop polish spirals because you already agreed on done. Okay, so what about fear? Label it, then collect data anyway. Say out loud, exposure ping, then immediately do 1 rep. That tiny sequence matters. You trained your nervous system that fear is not a stop sign, it's a start bell. Now implementation in 3 moves. 1, design your setup. Put the tools and prompts in a single workspace, template file, checklist, and rubric visible. 2, run the block. Timer on, reps first, commentary later. If you slip into analysis mid-rep, mark it with a dot and keep moving. 3, review and log. Score your rate, note 1 mistake pattern, write 1 tweak. Then, crucially, schedule the next block. Momentum lives on the calendar, not in your feelings. A quick micro story. A creator I coach kept improving titles for hours. We switched to the 3R model. In 18 minutes, she wrote 12 titles, rated curiosity, posted 2, and reviewed. By week 2, her average CTR jumped 28%, not because she's more talented, but because she doubled the number of evidence cycles. The thing most people miss is that evidence compounds. Each review reduces randomness. Let me add a mnemonic to make it stick. ACE, aim, create, examine. Aim is the sub-skill and target. Create is the timed reps. Examine is the review and tweak. Run ACE once per day and your identity will start shifting from smart to builder, because builders produce evidence on schedule. Before we continue, you need to understand the meta-win. When effort equals evidence, threat drops. Lower threat means more reps. More reps mean better rate. Better rate makes review satisfying. That flywheel turns discipline into a side effect, not a prerequisite. Quick win to try today. Pick one sub-skill, define a 20-minute hard zone with acceptance criteria. Run it. Log one pattern you noticed. Book the next session. Don't wait for motivation, use the session to create it. And when you catch yourself polishing, ask, where's the evidence? If it's not increasing, you're drifting toward exposure again. Cool idea. Now let's make your current self actually do it. Make present you act, commitment architecture. Cool idea. Now we make your current self actually follow through. Discipline isn't a personality trait, it's an environment. So we engineer the environment to beat your biases. First lever, reduce friction. Environment beats willpower. Set a single task workspace that only contains the materials for your next rep. One tab, one file, one checklist. Put the rubric and acceptance criteria in the first lines of the doc so there's zero hunting. Pre-open the template you'll use. Close everything else. If your tools are scattered, your brain burns energy before you start, and that energy gets mislabeled as I am not ready. Next, pre-commitment. Lock future options so present you can't negotiate later. You can use money, visibility, or access. Money, deposit with a friend. Miss the session, it gets donated to a cause you dislike. Visibility, book a 15-minute live cowork block where you screen share the output at the end. Access, install app blockers on your top 2 distractions during your hard zone window. Don't trust yourself to remember, automate the gate. Now, temptation bundling. Pair the pain task with a tiny pleasure so the immediate reward hits now, not later. Only listen to that podcast while you run your 18-minute sprint. Make a drink you actually enjoy at the session start. Use a simple variable treat, roll a die. On a 6, you get a slightly bigger reward. It sounds silly, but your brain cares about immediacy, not dignity. Default scheduling beats ad hoc ambition. Same slot, same trigger, same place. Implementation intention formula. After I anchor, I will specific action and location. For example, after I make coffee at 8:30, I will run an 18-minute hook writing block at my desk. Anchors remove calendar debates. If you're busy, shrink the block, don't move the anchor. Consistency trains your nervous system to treat the work as routine, not a weekly negotiation. Here's the 2-minute gate, your non-negotiable start ritual. You must begin, and after 2 minutes, you've earned the right to stop. Most days y'all keep going, the gate lowers the cost of entry. The script is simple. Open the doc, write the working title, start the timer. If you stop at 2 minutes, you still win because you ran the habit loop. The reason this works is it converts a vague intention into a concrete initiation, which is where most plans die. We also need anti-avoidance design. Use a visible task list that only shows the next action, no backlogs, no overwhelm. One card, one verb, one object. Draft 4 thumbnail comps. Hide everything else until the current card ships. If you keep a Kanban, limit work in progress to 1. Multitasking is just slower avoidance with better branding. Let me show you exactly how to stack these into a session. Night before, set your workspace, template, rubric, acceptance criteria visible. Morning, anchor fires, coffee done, headphones on, playlist starts, gate, open doc, write title, start timer. During the block, run reps first, commentary after. At minute 18, stop, score rep count and clarity on a 1-5, log 1 tweak, schedule tomorrow. Reward, tiny pleasure unlocked, if you miss. Automatic cost triggers. Money leaves your account, or you post a missed session emoji in your accountability chat. Now here's where most people mess up. They design heroic schedules they can't sustain. Start embarrassingly small, 1 hard zone per day. Add a second only after 2 weeks of green dots. Another mistake, moving the slot constantly. Protect the anchor, flex the length. Also, don't rely on memory for blockers. Set app blocker schedules to fire 5 minutes before your slot. If you have to choose the blocker each time, you'll choose Instagram. A quick micro story. A developer client couldn't carve time for portfolio projects. We set a 9:15 anchor after stand-up. 2-minute gate, open the repo, write a failing test. Pre-commit, $10 miss fee to a rival team's charity. Bundle, his favorite lo-fi playlist only during the block. He kept a visible weekly scoreboard by his monitor, 5 boxes, fill 1 a day. In 3 weeks, he had a working feature and 3 code reviews logged. Not because motivation spiked, because options were removed. Let's build your commitment architecture in 5 moves. Cue design, pick 1 anchor you already do daily. Workspace, strip to 1 tool, 1 file, 1 checklist. Gate, define the exact 2-minute start. Stakes, choose a tiny automatic cost for misses. Reward, attach a small immediate pleasure. If you remember nothing else, remember this: consistency is a design problem. Your system should make starting obvious, continuing likely, and skipping expensive. You're not proving grit, you're wiring defaults. Once the defaults run, discipline feels like autopilot. Y'all start. Now let's keep you from bailing at minute 5 by training your body to ride the anxiety spike instead of fleeing it. Breaking the flight response, emotional regulation. All right, minute 5 is where the wheels usually wobble. You feel a little spike, tight chest, restless hands, brain whispers, bad timing, check email first. That's not logic, that's threat resource appraisal. Your system scans the task, predicts embarrassment or effort, and fires a tiny flight response. We don't remove it, we write it. First move, name it. Out loud say, anxiety spike. Labeling switches you from being the feeling to observing it. The thing most people miss is that the urge feels like a command only when it's nameless. Give it a tag, and you've already created a gap to choose in. Second move, 1-minute breathing protocol to downshift the body. Use the physiological sigh, in through the nose, short second inhale to top off, long exhale through the mouth. Do 2 to 3 cycles. Or run box breathing, inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4 for 4 rounds. The goal isn't bliss. It's getting your CO2 and heart rate to a range where your prefrontal cortex can drive again. Now urge surfing. Cravings and avoidance urges rise, peak, and pass like a wave if you don't feed them. The rule, notice, name, ride. When the phone itch hits, say, urge rising. Picture it like a graph. Your job for the next 60-90 seconds is not to white knuckle, it's to watch the peak without acting. Most waves crest in under 2 minutes. If you remember nothing else, remember this: urges obey physics when you stop adding fuel. Before we continue, you need if-then rules for emotions, not just tasks. Implementation intentions for feelings look like this. If I feel the check messages pull during a block, then I do 1 physiological sigh and write 1 sentence. If I hit confusion, then I shrink the scope and define a single acceptance criterion. Pre-write these. Under pressure, you want invent good rules, y'all default to old habits. Here's the compassion loop, lower threat without lowering standards. 3 lines, this is a normal spike. I can do a tiny version. Then I assess, not judge. Compassion here isn't letting yourself off the hook. It's telling your nervous system the tiger is actually a Google Doc. That keeps your identity armor from snapping back on. Let me show you exactly how to run a 90-second reset when you reach for your phone. Step 1, label. Phone urge. Step 2, breathe 2 physiological sighs. Step 3, choose, type a single sentence you planned before the block. That's label right arrow, breathe right arrow, choose. Then mark a tiny tally on your sheet every time you ride an urge without acting on it. Make the invisible win visible. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to erase discomfort before starting the work. Wrong order. Start the smallest action, then regulate just enough to continue. Movement shrinks fear faster than meditation alone. Also, don't stack 5 techniques. Pick 1 breath pattern and 1 if-then rule. Simplicity beats sophistication when your heart rate's up. Let's add an edge meter so you can calibrate struggle. Rate your current intensity 1-10. 1 is sleepy, 10 is panic. You want a 4-6 during a hard zone, awake but not flooded. If you drop below 4, raise the edge with a slightly tighter time limit or a visible timer. If you spike above 6, downshift. 2 size, reduce the rep count, keep the clock. You're not quitting, you're managing arousal to stay in the learning zone. Common mistakes to avoid: blaming emotion for timing, "I'll do it later when I feel right," switching tasks to escape the spike, and confusing confusion with danger. Confusion is a cue to define. Write one clarifying question and answer it with a guess. Nothing reduces anxiety like a crisp next action. A quick micro story. A founder I coach bylate on customer calls at the calendar alert every time. We built a pre-call ritual: label exposure ping, 2 size, open the script, read the first line out loud. If his edge meter hit 7+, he asked the first question verbatim and muted himself for 6 seconds to surf the urge to ramble. After 4 calls, the spike fell to a 4. The difference wasn't courage, it was a protocol. Let me give you a pocket script for mid-block wobbles. This is the part that feels hard. 2 breaths, 1 sentence. Good enough beats perfect here. And a pocket script for after a wobble. I noticed the spike and kept a promise. Data logged, next rep scheduled. Tie it into your 3R loop. In review, add an emotion note: what triggered the spike, what breath you used, what kept you going. Patterns will emerge: time of day, task type, feedback moments. Adjust your plan to avoid predictable landmines and practice at the right edge. Final drill you can run today: set a 10-minute micro hard zone. Expect 1 spike. When it hits, smile slightly, yes, on purpose. Do 1 physiological sigh and complete the next tiny unit. When the timer ends, give yourself the reward you set earlier. You just trained your body that anxiety is a green light. Once that association forms, the flight response stops running your calendar. Deliberate practice for adults. With emotions handled, we can talk about the growth multiplier. Deliberate practice, not work, not grind. Practice, designed to improve performance with feedback at the edge of your ability on purpose. Adults skip this because it feels inefficient and embarrassing. That's exactly why it works. Start by choosing a keystone skill, the one upgrade that improves 10 other things. High leverage. If you're a creator, maybe it's writing hooks that earn the next sentence. If you're a founder, it could be discovery calls that reveal real pain. If you're an engineer, perhaps test first thinking that makes shipping safer. Pick the domino that topples others. Next, break it apart. Task decomposition turns get better at sales into components like opening, discovery, objection handling, closing. Most adults try to work on sales and end up rehearsing strengths. Decomposition forces you to isolate the weakest link. That's where you practice. It'll feel awkward. Good, that's the edge we want. Now you design feedback that's tight, immediate, specific, measurable. You need a mirror that shows you what actually happened. Options: a coach who scores a rubric, instrumentation that creates numbers, clicks, response rates, time to first bite, or a simple pass-fail test. Did the prospect talk more than me? Is a measurable proxy. Did this hook get a 1.5x higher click-through over baseline? Is another. If feedback is fuzzy, improvement will be too. Structure your time like this: short sprints, frequent reviews. Work right arrow, review right arrow, adjust. Most people batch mistakes into a painful weekly postmortem. That's slow. Instead, run multiple tiny cycles per week. The more evidence loops you complete, the faster you update. Frequency beats intensity for adults with busy lives. Let me show you exactly how to build a 1-week deliberate practice plan. Step 1, pick the keystone and the component. Keystone, writing threads, component, opening hook. Step 2, set a volume target and a time box. Write 40 hooks this week across 5 sessions of 18 minutes. Step 3, choose your rubric. Rate 1-5 for clarity and curiosity, ship 2 per session to live test. Step 4, define your review cadence. After each session, pick the top 2, note 1 pattern, write 1 tweak for the next session. Step 5, schedule it. 8:30 a.m. coffee anchor, Monday to Friday. This next part separates beginners from pros: error logging. Build a failure inventory. Write down misses in plain language, over-explained, buried the surprise, weak contrast. Tag them. Patterns will emerge fast. When you know your top 3 failure modes, you can design drills that hit them directly. Adults improve when they target recurring errors, not random effort. Plateaus will happen. When they do, rotate constraints to force adaptation. Change the input rules. If your hooks got flat, constrain yourself to 12 words or mandate a contrast frame or ban adjectives for a session. If your sales calls stall, set a rule. Ask 3 follow-ups before offering any solution. Constraints remove autopilot and surface blind spots. Let's run 3 concrete examples. Creator example. Keystone, retention. Component, first 10 seconds of video. Plan, record 5 alternate cold opens per script in an 18-minute block, test 2 live, track audience retention to 30 seconds. Feedback, retention curve plus a mini rubric. Promise clarity, novelty, concrete payoff. Error log, vague promise, shows up 3 times, so next week's constraint is include a number or contrast in the first sentence. That's deliberate practice. Founder example. Keystone, customer discovery. Component, problem clarification. Plan, daily 15-minute mock call with a peer. Goal is 5, tell me more prompts before stating a solution. Rubric, ratio of customer talking time, number of specific examples elicited, number of assumptions caught. Feedback, record and score immediately. Error log, jump to solution after the second signal. Constraint next session, no solutions until minute 8. Tiny, targeted, repeatable. Engineer example. Keystone, reliability. Component, writing tests before implementation. Plan, 18-minute slice. Write a failing test for a tiny behavior, then make it pass. Metric, red-green refactor cycle time and number of assertions per function. Feedback, peer review on test clarity. Error log, tests too broad. Constraint, 1 behavior per test, name includes behavior and edge case. Improvement becomes visible and fast. Common mistakes to avoid. 1. Turning practice into performance. If every rep must be publishable, y'all sandbag. Keep a sandbox where failure is free and expected. 2. Practicing in comfort. If your heart rate never blips, you're rehearsing, not training. Use the edge meter, aim for a 4-6. 3. Chasing novelty instead of depth. Tool hopping feels like progress, mastery looks like repetition with variation. A quick micro story. A client wanted to get better at public speaking, which is massive. We decomposed to opening the talk without filler. 5 mornings, 18 minutes each, he delivered the first 60 seconds to camera 5 times, scored for filler words and pause control, then watched back at 1.25x to note 1 fix. By Friday, filler dropped 60% and his first pause landed. The difference wasn't charisma. It was a measurable component, tight feedback, and 5 iterations. If you remember nothing else, remember this: deliberate practice is specific, scored, and scheduled. It feels harder than working, but it pays faster than grinding. Pick the keystone, break the link, instrument feedback, run short loops, log errors, rotate constraints. Y'all feel the identity shift because you won't be guessing. Y'all be improving on purpose. Identity upgrade, from smart to builder. You've got the mechanics, now we make it your identity. Smart is a static label. Builder is a daily behavior. The shift is simple to say and hard to live. I do hard things daily, not when it's convenient, not when I feel inspired daily. That sentence is your new North Star. Let's anchor it with Amor Fati, choose the struggle on purpose. Builders don't tolerate friction, they welcome it as training. When the hard zone shows up, the self-talk isn't, "Why is this happening to me?" It's "Perfect, this is the rep I asked for." That choice flips resistance into fuel. The work stops being an attack on your identity and becomes the practice that proves it. Here's the narrative swap that locks it in. Wins aren't proof that you're worthy, they're a proof your process works. Losses aren't proof you're unworthy, they're a proof you collected useful data. Effort is evidence. Every green dot on the scoreboard is a receipt that says, "I keep promises to myself." The moment your brain tracks proof instead of praise, motivation stops being a mystery. Well, make it concrete with 1 keystone habit, a non-negotiable hard zone rep per day. 1 18-20-minute block that hits the edge of your ability. It's your minimum effective identity dose. You miss meals sometimes, you don't miss this. The reason this works is consistency rebrands you to yourself. After 10 days, you're not someone trying to be disciplined, you're someone who does their rep. Okay, language matters. Add yet everywhere you hear a fixed statement. I'm not good at hooks yet. I can't sell yet. I don't have the voice yet. The thing most people miss is that yet isn't motivational fluff. It's a cue to pick the next sub-skill and schedule a block. If you can't name the sub-skill, you're not allowed to say yet. That rule keeps identity talk tied to action. Social identity accelerates everything. Join rooms that praise practice over outcomes. If your group claps for shiny finished work but never for deliberate reps, you'll drift back to performance mode. Builders normalize rough drafts, rubrics, and feedback quotas. Find a peer who asks, "What did you learn?" before they ask, "How did it do?" Ritualize proof. Once a week, run a short evidence review, 10 minutes tops. Open your failure inventory and your session logs. Score your week on 2 numbers: number of hard zones completed and 1 trend you spotted. Write a 1-sentence identity proof. This week I did 5 edge reps and improved my objection handling by pausing before answering. That's it. Feelings get airtime, but evidence gets the mic. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to overhaul identity with declarations and vision boards. Identity is an output. It lags behavior. If you remember nothing else, remember this: don't convince yourself, condition yourself. The daily rep is the conditioning. The weekly review is the consolidation. The room you're in is the reinforcement. Let me show you exactly how to operationalize the identity shift in 7 moves. 1 sentence: I do hard things daily. 1 anchor: same time, same place for the hard zone. 1 scoreboard: visible, physical green dots only for completed edge reps. 1 stake: tiny cost for misses already automated. 1 yet rule: any complaint converts into a sub-skill plus a scheduled block. 1 room: a buddy or group that shares acceptance criteria and posts failure logs. 1 review: 10 minutes Friday to write the identity proof sentence. Micro story: a creator I work with hated calling themselves a writer because the word felt big and precious. We swapped the label to builder, picked the Keystone opening hooks, and set 1 hard zone per morning. They posted their rep count in a small group where the norm was process screenshots or it didn't happen. 6 weeks later, they introduced themselves as I published daily drafts and test hooks. The identity arrived because the receipts stacked up. Let's talk self-talk guardrails. 3 quick lines to use before a block: I chose this. I do 1 hard rep. Evidence, not judgment. 3 lines after: rep done. 1 lesson. Next block scheduled. Keep them boring. Poetic mantras invite debates, plain ones end them. You'll run into old, smart reflexes, polish spirals, performative competence hiding from critique. When you catch one, say builder check, then ask, where's the next piece of evidence? Shrink scope, ship a testable slice, request 1 critical note. That move protects your identity by proving it. A note on setbacks: you will miss days. Builders expect misses and protect streak integrity with a no-fault reset. The day after a miss, your only job is a tiny rep, 2 minutes counts to reboot the loop. No back taxes, no double sessions. Shame is a terrible project manager. Finally, tie meaning to the reps. Not I need this to succeed, but this is who I am becoming. The meaning loop is simple. Daily rep expresses identity, weekly review reinforces identity, the room reflects identity. That triangle removes the need to feel like it every time. You always want to. Builders build anyway. So say it with me: I do hard things daily. Then prove it once today. 1 edge rep, 1 log entry, 1 dot. The rest of the system gets easier when the builder identity drives. Accountability with teeth. You've got the identity. Now we add teeth, stakes that make the system bite when you slip and cheer when you show up. Accountability without consequences is just a friendly diary. We want a structure that rewards evidence and penalizes avoidance, gently but unmistakably. Start with stakes: money, reputation, or access. Money is simplest. Set a tiny automatic cost for a missed hard zone. $5 or $10 moves the needle without wrecking your month. Use a commitment contract or a buddy who holds the deposit. Reputation works too. Agree to post a green or red mark in a small group by a set time daily. Access is powerful. Lose a privilege you care about. No video game, no dessert, no favorite podcast, unless the dot is earned. Now the partner brief. Pick 1 person and define exactly what y'all report when and what counts as done. Keep it measurable. By 9:45 a.m. I send you session timestamp, sub-skill, rep count, rate score 1-5, 1 lesson, and tomorrow's scheduled slot. No vibes, no essays, just receipts. If your report takes longer than 2 minutes, it won't survive busy days. Add a public scoreboard. Not Twitter-level spectacle, just a visible metric your circle can see. Think a shared sheet, a Notion board, or a Discord bot that logs your daily dot. Update weekly with one stat that matters, hard zones completed or shipped deliverables. The goal isn't clout, it's visibility. What's visible gets done. Here's the consequence ladder, escalating penalties that kick in if you skip. First miss in a week, pay the $5 stake. Second miss, $10 and you post your miss publicly to the group. Third miss, you owe a brief postmortem and lose access to your fun treat for 3 days. Fourth miss, you step into a 30-minute live co-work with a peer at an inconvenient hour. The ladder resets weekly. The point is proportion, not punishment. Stakes increase, so avoidance doesn't become the path of least resistance. Before we continue, you need anti-gaming rules. Define acceptable shortcuts and ban behaviors up front. Acceptable, shrinking the block to 10 minutes when sick, switching a session time with 12-hour notice. Banned, counting meta work as a hard zone, backfilling dots, moving the slot because you don't feel it. Write these down with your partner. Ambiguity is where smart people get sneaky. Let me show you exactly how to set up done. Acceptance criteria for a valid hard zone, timer set for at least 10 minutes, sub-skill named, minimum 2 reps or 1 shippable slice, review logged with 1 lesson and 1 tweak, next session scheduled. If any element is missing, it's not done. Clear criteria stop the 5 p.m. Does this count? Negotiation. Recovery matters. Y'all miss and shame loves to snowball. Use a no-fault reset protocol. It's 4 lines you follow automatically. Acknowledge the miss without a story, pay the stake, do a 2-minute recovery rep today, tiny win, schedule tomorrow's standard block. That's it. No back taxes. No "I'll do 2 tomorrow." We protect momentum, not penance. Here's a micro story. A designer I coach had a gorgeous private dashboard and 0 shipping. We added teeth. $7 per miss to a rival app's promo fund, daily green dot in a 3-person chat, Friday recap with 1 shipped asset screenshot. We set a consequence ladder. First miss money, second miss money plus a public miss note, third miss a Saturday co-work. We also wrote anti-gaming rules, no counting font browsing, no dots for research. In 4 weeks, she shipped 9 assets and booked 2 clients. Same talent, new teeth. Now, how do you make this fun enough to keep? Pair the teeth with treats. Every full week of dots earns a small reward, new playlist, a coffee from your favorite spot, an hour guilt-free on a hobby. Every 4 weeks, a medium reward if you hit 80% of planned sessions. You're training a dog, the dog is your brain. Keep the ratio of wins to losses high. Common mistakes to avoid. Picking stakes so large you freeze, reporting to an audience that doesn't care, and creating a scoreboard with vanity metrics. Keep stakes small but automatic. Choose a partner who values practice. And track the behavior, not the outcome. Count hard zones, not views or sales. Outcomes lag. Behavior leads. Implementation checklist. Pick your stake type, money, reputation, or access. Automate it. Write your partner brief. What, when, format, and acceptance criteria. Create a visible scoreboard. Daily dots, weekly stat, updated on a fixed day. Build the ladder. Define first, second, third, fourth miss consequences. Draft anti-gaming rules. Acceptable shortcuts and ban behaviors. Set the recovery clause. Acknowledge, pay, tiny rep, schedule. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Accountability should feel like bowling bumpers, not prison bars. It keeps you in the lane and makes the strike more likely. The teeth aren't there to hurt you, they're there to make avoidance the heavier lift. Tie this back to identity. Builders keep promises, and promises are easier to keep when someone can see whether you kept them. Evidence wins. Teeth help. Now that your system bites gently, well, strip out the biggest smart kid pitfalls so you stop tripping the same wires over and over. The big 3 pitfalls and fixes. All right, time to diffuse the traps that keep smart folks spinning. These 3 cause most of the drag: perfection freeze, scope inflation, and last-minute heroics, plus 2 bonus gremlins, tool hopping and feedback dodging. I'll give you the fix for each so you can spot them in seconds and move. Perfection freeze first. The pattern: work only counts if it's flawless, so you stall, polish, or refine forever. The fix is the 70% rule plus a shipping cadence. Define MVP or nothing as 70% clarity, testable today. Then tie it to a schedule. Ship one slice every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m., no matter what. The reason this works is it replaces infinite standards with a pre-agreed bar and a clock. You're not lowering quality. You're iterating faster than your perfectionism can rationalize. Let me show you exactly how to apply it. Before a block, write acceptance criteria that defines 70%. For this page, headline, 3 bullets, 1 CTA, basic styling, no animations. When the clock hits, you ship. You can schedule a polish pass later, but only after feedback. Perfection freeze hates fresh input, force it. Scope inflation next. Smart ideas love adding complexity. You start with a simple landing page, end with a full app spec. The fix is a constraint box, time and features pre-committed. Example box, 2 hours, 1 page, 1 CTA, no login, no payments. Put the constraint at the top of your doc. If a new idea shows up, you put it in a later list outside the box. Constraints aren't punishment, they're creative rails. They force trade-offs and keep momentum. Here's a quick guardrail, the rule of one. One goal, one audience, one action per deliverable. If you catch yourself saying and, scope is inflating. Replace and with after, well, add testimonials after we ship the plain page. Language controls scope more than you think. Now the adrenaline favorite, last-minute heroics. You skip steady reps, then sprint at the deadline, crank something decent, and tell yourself pressure is your superpower. The cost is unpredictable quality and zero learning. The fix is a no-cram calendar with daily micro-deadlines. Break any deliverable into tiny slices with same-day due times. Monday 10 a.m., outline. Tuesday 10 a.m., draft section 1. Wednesday 10 a.m., draft section 2. That's daily variability reduction. Way less drama, way more data. Tie it to your hard zone anchor. Your first block each morning advances the deliverable, and you must post a receipt by a fixed time. If you miss a micro deadline, you trigger your consequence ladder immediately. Adrenaline loses when you reduce variance and separate thinking from shipping. 2 more pitfalls you'll likely meet this week. Tool hopping, you stay in a research loop, switching software, cameras, frameworks, and notebooks. It feels like progress, it's avoidance. The fix is a 30-day tool lock. Pick one stack and ban changes until the lock ends. Put the date on a sticky note. Keep a tool wish list, but don't touch it. During the lock, you iterate your process, not your platform. Feedback dodging, you avoid critique by showing only to fans or by waiting until it's ready. The fix is a feedback quota per deliverable. Define it up front, 2 critical notes before final. Give reviewers a rubric and a deadline. You're not looking for applause, you're looking for signal. The sooner you get specific corrections, the faster your reps translate into rate. Let me bundle these into a simple play. You've got a landing page due in 2 weeks. Day 0, write a constraint box. 4 sections, no payments, 2 hours per day. Perfection fix, define 70% criteria and a shipping cadence, 2/3 at 4 p.m. last-minute fix. Micro deadlines each morning at 10 a.m. tool lock. Webflow only for 30 days. Feedback quota, 2 critical notes by this Friday with a rubric. Clarity, relevance, friction. Every morning, your hard zone hits the next micro slice. Every afternoon, you ship a slice twice a week, collect notes, and log errors. Variability goes down, throughput goes up. Micro story. A freelancer I coach spent 3 weeks perfecting a portfolio case study, no publish. We slapped on the constraint box and 70% rule. 1 page, 500 words, 2 images, shipped Thursday 4 p.m. We set daily micro deadlines at 10 a.m. for sections. We locked tools to Google Docs and Framer for 30 days. Feedback quota. 1 peer, 1 past client, rubric with 3 questions. Result, first draft shipped in 4 days, revised in 8, live in 10. Inquiries followed because there was finally something to see. Watch for these tells. Just 1 more pass means perfection freeze. Check your 70% criteria and ship. What if we also means scope inflation, read the constraint box out loud? I'll smash it tonight means heroics, add a micro deadline with a stake. Common mistakes to avoid, making 70% so vague that anything counts, building tiny deadlines without visible receipts, and setting constraint boxes you ignore. Put the rules where you work. Make receipts public. Treat constraints like test specs. If you violate them, you document why and reset. You don't pretend it didn't happen. If you remember nothing else, remember this: simple limits beat clever plans. Freeze melts with 70% plus cadence. Scope shrinks inside a box. Heroics fade when you lower variability with micro deadlines. Lock tools, hunt feedback, then go again. The weekly operating system. Time to operationalize everything into a week that runs itself. Think of this like a small factory. Clear outputs, protected production time, quick inspections, and a Friday shutdown that resets the floor for Monday. Start with 3 outcomes per week tied to your Keystone skill. Not tasks, outcomes with objective criteria. For example, publish 2 70% posts with 1 critical note each, record and test 3 alternate cold opens, or ship 1 landing page section meeting the constraint box. Write the acceptance criteria under each so done is unambiguous. If someone else can't verify it without your explanation, it's not clear enough. Now schedule hard zones first. Open your calendar, block 5 anchors for the week, same time if possible, to protect the edge work. Add buffers like you would for meetings, 5 minutes before for setup, 5 after for review and logging. These blocks don't move. Length can flex from 10-25 minutes, but the slot is sacred. Everything else fits around them, not the other way around. Add a prep block, 20 minutes early in the week to remove friction and seed prompts. This is where you load templates, write acceptance criteria, pre-link references, and set your rubric side by side with your working file. Cue cards live here, a checklist for your sub-skill, the edge meter scale, and your if-then emotion rules. The point is you should be able to start a hard zone by just opening 1 file. Next, the review block. Short, frequent, and factual. Do 2 types, micro-reviews after each hard zone, score reps, rate 1 lesson, 1 tweak, and a weekly review on Friday. In the Friday review, open your failure inventory and session log. Tally hard zones completed, list top 2 error patterns, and write 1 constraint for next week. Keep it 10-15 minutes. If review bloats, y'all dodge it. Use an energy map to align hard work with your best hours. Note when you naturally have a 4-6 on the edge meter. Morning person, put hard zones before your first communication task. Afternoon spark, protect 2-3 p.m. from meetings. If your job is rigid, carve a consistent micro slot right after an unavoidable anchor like lunch. Chronotype-aware scheduling isn't luxury, it's leverage. Here's how a sample week might look. Monday, prep block, then hard zone 1 at 8:40 a.m. outcome 1 slice progresses. Tuesday, hard zone 2, ship a 70% slice at 4 p.m. per cadence. Quick feedback request sent. Wednesday, hard zone 3, adjust based on notes. Log 1 repeated error. Thursday, hard zone 4, second ship at 4 p.m. tool lock still active, constraint box visible. Friday, hard zone 5, then weekly review. Write your identity proof sentence, schedule Monday's first action. Let me show you exactly how to prep. In your project folder, keep 1 template file per subskill with the rubric in the header, a constraint box, text snippet to paste at the top of new slices, a good enough acceptance criteria checklist for 70% versions, a tiny scoreboard you can mark without opening an app, paper wins. During each hard zone, follow the same microrhythm. Start cue fires, 2-minute gate, run reps, micro review. After the block, capture a 1-line lesson and schedule the next session before you stand up. That last step matters more than you think. Scheduling when your brain is warm prevents cold start friction later. The reset ritual on Friday closes the loop. First, close open tabs and capture stray tasks onto a parking lot list labeled after outcomes. Second, pick Monday's first hard zone subskill and paste its acceptance criteria at the top of the working file. Third, set your environment. The exact file y'all open, the playlist y'all use, the blocker schedule. Say your shutdown phrase, factory closed, Monday 8:40 hooks. Walking away with Monday loaded is how you start fast. Common mistakes to avoid. 1. Packing more than 3 outcomes. Smart brains love overbooking, systems hate it. 3 forces trade-offs and keeps momentum. 2. Moving hard zones for meetings that don't matter. Protect the slot, negotiate the length. 3. Bloated reviews. Keep them score first, story second. 4. Hiding outcomes in tool chaos. Put your week plan where you work top of the dock, sticky on the monitor, or a single-page Notion you actually open. A quick micro story. A marketer I coach used to juggle 6 projects and felt busy broke. We cut to 3 outcomes, blocked 5 hard zones, added a Tuesday-Thursday ship cadence, and made Friday review non-negotiable. Her visible scoreboard tracked only hard zones and ship slices. Within 3 weeks, throughput doubled and stress dropped. Nothing mystical, just fewer decisions and fewer places to hide. Here's a weekly checklist you can copy. Define 3 outcomes with acceptance criteria. Block 5 hard zones plus tiny buffers. Run a 20-minute prep block to set templates and rubrics. Ship on a cadence, 2 pre-committed windows for 70% versions. Do micro-reviews after each block, log patterns. Friday reset, tally right identity proof, load Monday's first action. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Your week should make the next rep obvious, not heroic. Pre-decide outcomes, protect the edge time, and close the week clean. When the system carries the weight, your brain can finally do what it's good at, practice on purpose. Case studies, applying the system. Let's make this concrete with 4 real-world scenarios. Different lives, same mechanics, hard zones, constraints, stakes, and evidence. Career switcher first. She's moving from ops to UX with no portfolio. We set a 10-week runway. Weekly outcomes, 1 MVP case study and 1 microcomponent. Constraint box, 1 problem, 1 user flow, 3 screens, 1 paragraph per screen, no animations. Hard zones at 7:40 a.m., 5 days a week. Tuesday, Thursday shipping cadence for 70% drafts. Public scoreboard, a simple Notion board shared with a 3-person cohort. Feedback quota, 2 critical notes per case study using a rubric, clarity, hierarchy, and task success. Stakes, $7 to a rival product per missed dot. In week 3, she wanted to redo a layout from scratch, perfection freeze. We read the constraint box out loud, shipped the 70% version, logged week contrast, and added next week's constraint. Headline contrast delta greater or equal to 4, 5, 1. By week 8, she had 6 visible case studies and 3 interviews booked. Not luck, evidence plus cadence. Creator next. He's stuck publishing irregularly, caught in tool hopping. Keystone skill, opening 10 seconds. Tool lock, Premiere plus 1 thumbnail tool for 30 days. Hard zone at 9:05 a.m., 18 minutes every weekday. Daily micro deadline. Cold open draft posted in a small Discord by 10 a.m. shipping cadence. 2 videos per week with 2 alternate opens each. 70% rule in the header. Promise, novelty, concrete payoff. Feedback quota, 1 peer, 1 viewer from the email list scoring clarity on a 1-5. Consequence ladder. Miss 1, pay $5. Miss 2, post the miss publicly. Miss 3, Saturday co-work. He tried to sneak in a new camera. Tool lock kicked in after the month. In 2 weeks, average retention to 30 seconds climbed from 51% to 62%. The difference wasn't gear, it was hard zones, constraints, and feedback. Founder scenario. Early stage SaaS, 0 traction. Keystone skill, customer discovery. Component, problem clarification. Hard zones at 1:15 p.m. right after lunch 5 days a week. Commitment device, calendar invites with prospects. A miss triggers a $20 donation. Rubric for calls, ratio of customer talk time greater or equal to 70%, 5 concrete examples before any solution, 0 feature pitches before minute 8. Error log revealed solution jumping at minute 3. We added a constraint. Scripts must include 3 tell me more prompts before any suggestion. Public scoreboard, a team dashboard showing weekly discovery calls and number of problems bucketed. Shipping cadence, Monday, Wednesday, 1-page problem write-ups to the team with acceptance criteria, tight description, quotes, and impact. By week 4, they had 35 structured interviews and a clear top pane. Not because they worked more hours, because they worked the right edge with teeth. Student example, 3rd-year engineering, chronic cramming. Keystone, spaced projects. Daily 2-minute gate at 6:30 p.m. after dinner. Open the problem set, write 1 line. Hard zone, 10-18 minutes depending on day. No cram rule, micro deadlines for each piece, outline Monday, set up test harness Tuesday, implement function a Wednesday, function B Thursday. Stakes, $3 per miss to a dorm pizza fund. Temptation bundle, favorite playlist only during blocks. Feedback quota, 1 TA check-in per week with a rubric, edge cases, test coverage, time complexity. Tool lock, 1 IDE for the semester. He used the edge meter to keep sessions at a 4.6 and wrote emotion notes in the review. 2 weeks in, he reported fewer "I'll-do-it-later" spirals and a steady 90-minute weekly total, replacing 6-hour cram nights. Grades rose because variability dropped. Notice the common thread: identity proof beats outcome obsession. Each person tracked hard zones completed, logged one lesson, and wrote a weekly identity sentence. Outcomes improved because behaviors were measurable and scheduled. Let me walk you through how to set this up for yourself step by step, regardless of role. 1. Pick the keystone. Ask, which skill, if better, upgrades everything else I do? 2. Break it into components and choose the weakest link. 3. Write a constraint box for this week's deliverables and define 70% acceptance criteria. 4. Schedule 5 hard zones in your energy window, anchored to a daily habit. 5. Set stakes: money, reputation, or access, small, automatic, immediate. 6. Create a tiny public scoreboard visible to at least one person. 7. Define a feedback quota with a rubric: who will score you and by when. 8. Lock tools for 30 days. 9. Run micro-reviews after each block and a 10-minute weekly review to write your identity-proof sentence. Common mistakes in casework: expanding scope midweek, swapping tools to avoid discomfort, letting feedback get fuzzy, and hiding dots when you miss. Protect the constraint box, honor the tool lock, push for specific notes, and use the recovery clause the moment you slip. A final micro-story. A mid-career marketer wanted to switch to analytics. We ran the play: Keystone SQL, component joins, constraint box, 1 problem per day, 18-minute blocks at lunch, $5 stake, peer rubric for query clarity. In 6 weeks, she had a public portfolio of 15 solved problems and 2 interviews. Same person, new identity. Builder, not smart someday. The daily execution playbook. All right, daily execution. This is the part that turns good intentions into receipts. Well, keep it brain simple. Same start cue, tight sprint, quick review, tiny reward, clean shutdown. When every day runs the same microrhythm, momentum stops depending on mood. Start cue first. Make it automatic with an implementation intention. After your anchor, you start in the same place with the same playlist. After coffee at 8:30, I sit at my desk, put on track 1, and open the working file. Put the rubric and acceptance criteria at the top of that file so it's staring you in the face. 1 location, 1 soundtrack, 1 tap. Now the 2-minute gate. You must begin, then you can bail. Gate script: write the working title, paste the constraint box if needed, start the timer. That's it. 2 minutes in, you've already cleared the biggest friction: initiation. Most days y'all stay. If you don't, you still won by keeping the circuit alive. Sprint structure: 18 minutes on, 2 minutes to review. That's your hard zone interval. 18 minutes is enough to produce evidence and short enough to dodge avoidance. During the sprint, run reps first, commentary after. If you feel analysis sucking you in, mark a dot, finish the rep, then note the thought in review. Distraction capture keeps the sprint clean. Keep a single sheet, paper, or a text file labeled later. Any urge, task, or idea goes there instantly. Phone itch, email ping, brilliant tangent. You're not suppressing, you're externalizing. The sprint protects creation, the sheet protects your brain. Micrometrics keep you honest. Track 3 numbers per sprint: reps completed, rate per minute or per block, and a review score 1-5 for how well you hit the acceptance criteria. Don't grade your worth, grade the block. Over a week, those numbers show patterns you can't see when you're in it. Now the review: 2 minutes. Answer 3 lines: what shipped or got tested, 1 mistake pattern, 1 tweak for tomorrow. If you remember nothing else, remember this: the next session is scheduled before you stand up. Momentum lives on the calendar, not in your feelings. Reward immediately, small and consistent. That's your temptation bundle. Sip the good coffee, switch to the fun playlist, take a 2-minute walk in the sun. Tie the treat to the green dot, not to quality. You're conditioning the habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. End cue closes the loop. Use a shutdown phrase and a next step note. Block done. Tomorrow, write 5 alt hooks using contrast. Put that note at the top of the file so tomorrow's start is obvious. Then close the tab. Leaving open loops open invites late-day anxiety and next-day friction. Let me show you exactly how a block sounds in your head. Anchor fires. I chose this: 2 minutes. Title typed. Timer starts. Reps first. Dot a distraction, keep moving. At 18:00, stop. Score 12 reps, rate moderate, review score 3. Lesson, buried the surprise. Tweak, lead with contrast tomorrow. Next block scheduled. Treat unlocked. Shut down phrase, that's the playbook. Common mistakes to avoid. Changing the start cue every day, turning review into a diary, earning the reward only if it felt great, and letting the next step stay vague. Keep the cue fixed, keep review factual, reward the showing up, and write a concrete next action with a verb and an object. If you're slammed, scale down the block, not the routine. Keep the anchor, keep the gate, make the sprint 10 minutes. The identity dose is the rep, not the duration. Busy seasons are when cadence matters most. Add 2 optional boosters. 1, visible scoreboard by your workstation, 5 boxes for the week, fill 1 after each block. Visibility reduces negotiating. 2, session template. At the top, constraint box, rubric, acceptance criteria, edge meter scale, and your if then emotional rules. Fewer clicks, fewer excuses. Here's a day in the life example. 8:28 coffee pours, 8:30 headphones on, playlist starts, working file open. 2-minute gate, paste constraint box, start timer. Sprint, write 10 headline variants. Distraction hits, note, email 9:10. At 18:00, review, reps 10, rate .55 min, score 3. Lesson, too many adjectives. Tweak, ban adjectives tomorrow. Schedule 8:30 again. Reward, stretch, switch music. Shut down phrase, factory closed tomorrow, hooks with contrast. Travel or chaos day, run a pocket block. Same anchor, maybe after brushing teeth. Same timer, same review, same treat. Shrink scope, don't change identity. Lightning fixes for mid-block wobbles. If confusion spikes, define the smallest unit and write 1 acceptance criterion. If anxiety spikes, label it, do 1 physiological sigh, write 1 sentence. If perfection flares, read your 70% rule out loud and ship 1 slice to test. 2 reminders to keep you honest. Practice that can't create evidence can't create growth, so every block must end with something scored or shipped. And discipline is a design problem, so protect the parts of the routine that remove choice. The anchor, the gate, and the per-written next step. Run this playbook for 10 consecutive workdays. By day 4, starting gets easier. By day 7, review notes start repeating, good, now you can target them. By day 10, you've got a visible trail of evidence and a brain that expects the rep. You don't need more willpower, you need fewer decisions. 1 anchor, 1 timer, 1 review. Do the tiny boring things that make the hard thing inevitable. Lightning round, common questions. How do I pick my Keystone skill? Choose the 1 upgrade that improves 5 other things you do weekly. If you're torn, list your top tasks and circle the bottleneck that shows up most. That's your Keystone. If you can't find one, you need a week of logging to see where work actually stalls. What if I fail publicly? Treat it as evidence, not indictment. Use the recovery clause, acknowledge, pay the stake, run a 2-minute recovery rep, schedule tomorrow. Then post the lesson, not the apology. Pros share process and corrections, dabblers hide. Your reputation rises when your feedback loop is visible. How do I handle low motivation days? Keep the anchor. Shrink the block to 10 minutes. Run the 2-minute gate. Use 1 physiological sigh, then write 1 sentence. Reward immediately after. The goal isn't progress, it's identity maintenance. Momentum survives because the loop ran. My job kills my schedule, now what? Default scheduling. Tie a micro hard zone to a non-movable anchor. After lunch, before commute, right after stand-up. Flex duration, not location. If the day explodes, run a pocket block, 2 minutes counts. Protect the anchor so tomorrow isn't a cold start. How long until I see results? Lead indicators move first. Expect smoother starts by day 4, clearer patterns in review by day 7, and measurable rate improvements by weeks 2 to 3. Outcomes lag, behavior leads. Track hard zones completed and 1 metric tied to your subskill. Can I do multiple goals? Sequence before you stack. Run 1 Keystone for 4 to 6 weeks until the routine is automatic. Then add a second block only if your first block stays green 80% of days. Capacity decides, desire doesn't. What if I don't know my weakest link? Decompose the skill and test tiny reps across components. Which rep makes your edge meter jump to a 6? That's your candidate. Ask a coach or peer to score one sample with a rubric. Outside eyes beat guesses. How do I get useful feedback? Set a rubric, give a deadline, and ask for 2 concrete improvements, not general vibes. What should I delete? Beats thoughts. Close the loop by posting what you changed. Reviewers return when their notes matter. What if I keep skipping despite stakes? Lower the bar, not the standard. Make the session 10 minutes, but keep the acceptance criteria and the cost. Add a live co-work once a week. Increase visibility before you increase punishment. Final one, what do I do tomorrow? 1 hard zone, 1 acceptance criterion, 1 public receipt. Evidence first, everything else after. Philosophy backbone, Amor Fati in practice. You've built systems, reps, and identity. The backbone that makes it sustainable is simple. Love the work as it is, not as you wish it were. Amor Fati, love of fate isn't romance, it's consent. You choose the necessary daily. When friction shows up, it's not an interruption to your life. It is your training plan delivered on time. Love the obstacles by treating them as training data. The email that derails you, that's a constraint rehearsal. Can you return to the edge after a break? The boring refactor. That's rate training. Can you keep the tempo when novelty fades? The harsh feedback. That's signal calibration. Can you extract the fix without defending the ego? When you see obstacles as assigned reps, resistance loses its teeth. Choose your pain on purpose. You can have the small, controlled pain of a daily hard zone or the large, chaotic pain of avoided work that explodes later. Pick the pre-committed struggle. It's 10 minutes now instead of 10 hours at midnight. The thing most people miss is that choosing small pain increases freedom. You're not at the mercy of adrenaline or moods. You're steering. Build an antifragile identity, one that gets stronger from stress. Every time you hit the 4-6 zone on the edge meter and stay there, you're teaching your nervous system that challenge is safe. You're not surviving the day, you're upgrading your capacity. The reason this works is exposure plus control rewires threat appraisal. You feel an urge, you run a protocol, you ship a slice. Stress becomes stimulus, not a stop sign. Bring in a memento mori cue, not to get grim, but to shrink the horizon just enough to move. You have a finite number of 18-minute blocks in a year. Treat them like currency you spend with care. A simple, honest line does the job. I get about 1,000 serious hours this year. I am spending 1 now. Urgency rises, and trivia loses its grip. Tie meaning to the reps through the identity loop. Each daily block expresses who you're becoming, not what you're chasing. You're not doing a hard zone to get likes or a promotion. You're doing it because builders build. The weekly review consolidates that story with evidence, not mood. Meaning isn't motivational wallpaper. It's the narrative glue that holds the routine when the day is messy. Let's close the open loop from the start, the single shift that makes struggle feel safe. Effort is evidence, not exposure. When you treat effort as exposure, every rep risks your status. When you treat effort as evidence, every rep is a receipt that you're the kind of person who shows up. Same work, different frame, totally different nervous system response. Here's how to apply Amor Fati in 5 fast moves. Pre-accept today's friction before it arrives. Say, today will include interrupts and spikes. I welcome the training. Translate annoyances into training categories. Interrupt equals restart rep, confusion equals scope shrink, critique equals tweak target. Run the chosen pain, check when you hesitate. Small pain now or big pain later? Choose now. Log 1, stress made me better, note each Friday. What stressor improved your process? Keep a tiny memento mori prompt where you work. A coin, a line on a sticky, a screensaver with your weekly block count. Micro story, a product lead I coach kept getting derailed by leadership pings mid-morning. We flipped it into Amor Fati practice. Pre-accept, expect 2 pings, training label, restart reps under pressure. He wrote a 1-line restart script, open file, paste acceptance criterion, set timer. He started seeing pings not as theft, but as restart drills. 3 weeks later, he could re-enter a block in 60 seconds. Same interruptions, new backbone. Common mistakes with philosophy work. Turning it into slogans, using it to excuse sloppy execution, and treating it like a mood you need to feel. Don't. Amor Fati is a behavior. Welcome, translate, choose, log, keep it visible but boring. If it starts sounding poetic, you're drifting away from practice. If you remember nothing else, remember this. You don't need the world to cooperate for you to train. You need one block, one obstacle to welcome, and one receipt. Love the necessary, pick the smaller pain, ride the spike, write the lesson, and come back tomorrow. That's the backbone. That's how SMART turns into builder for good. Key takeaway: struggle gets safe when effort becomes evidence, not judgment, and you design tiny daily reps that prove who you're becoming. Do one action now. Schedule tomorrow's hard zone with a 2-minute gate, add a tiny stake, and text a partner your acceptance criteria. Then, watch my deep dive on future you traps to bulletproof your commitment architecture. Subscribe for the advanced deliberate practice breakdown and weekly playbooks that make discipline feel automatic.